What's the secret of inside staterooms on Disney Cruise Line, and why are these so weird about those stateroom doors? We've got the answer to those questions and more today on DFP Guide. Let's win Disney Cruise! Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. We are back to Disney Cruise Line today. This is part 2 of our What I Wish I'd Known Before I Cruised with Disney Cruise Line. And seriously, I really do wish I'd known this stuff before I cruised with Disney Cruise Line. So let's get started talking about food on the cruise. You can control your dining, but only a little bit. So, all of your dinner arrangements are made before embarkation, before you get on the ship. You can decide during online check-in whether you would prefer the first or second dining time. That is, if first and second dining times are still available. The first one sells out because that one is earlier. It's like 5:30, 5:45. That one sells out earlier because there's a lot of kiddos on the ship and they like to eat earlier. The second dining time is closer to 8:30, and you might get stuck with that one if it's your first time cruising or if you're at a lower level on the cruising hierarchy right now. But here's a little tip. If you don't like the time slot that you're assigned or that you get stuck with, you can contact Disney Cruise Line and be put on the wait list for the other time slot. A lot of people don't know this. I've contacted Disney Cruise Line and asked them to change specific things about my cruise several times before I've gotten on the ship, and just about every time I've asked to be switched to the earlier dining time slot, it has happened. There hasn't been any problem with them being able to do that. So be sure to call and ask to be put on the wait list for that earlier time slot if you need it. Or if you've been given the earlier time slot and you want the later time slot, same situation. Now, after that's been decided, you are assigned a dining rotation. So when you get on the ship, you'll see your dining rotation on your Key to the World card. This determines which restaurant you're eating at on each night of the cruise. So Disney Cruise Line has something called Rotational Dining, where you rotate between the 3 main dining locations throughout your cruise. So for instance, you could be eating at Tiana's Place the first night, then Triton's the second night, and Animator's Palette the third night. Then you go back to Tiana's on the 4th night, so on and so forth. Now you can change your dining rotation if you're unhappy with it, but if you want to do that, you'll need to do it ASAP once you board. When you get on the ship, ask a cast member, where do I go to change my dining rotation? And they'll give you a specific room or location on the ship where there will be cast members waiting for you to help you change your dining rotation. Note that when you see the restaurants listed on your key card, they will be listed as acronyms. So for instance, Tiana's Place will be TP, Triton's will be TR, Animator's Palette will be AP. So when you see those weird letters on your key card, that's what that means. Now, a really fun thing about rotational dining is that you keep your same server each night. There's a team of servers that will help you out at your table, and you keep the same folks every night. They travel with you from restaurant to restaurant, and they take it upon themselves to learn everything they can about you, so they make sure you have the best experience possible. They learn your favorite drink, they know who you want to sit by, they know you like 3 lemons in your iced tea, they know you like 4 limes in your water, they know that your kid prefers milk and lemonade, not one or the other. They'll learn your ways and they'll make sure that your table is ready to go each night, which I think is awesome. Also, part of rotational dining is sitting with other guests. You can request ahead of time to sit alone. There are some 2-person or 4-person tables in the restaurants, but keep in mind that there's only a few of those. Disney will likely pair you with similar travelers. Adults without kids will be paired together. Families with young kids will be paired together. I was on a cruise with a girlfriend of mine, and we were seated at a table with other women traveling alone or traveling together in pairs. So they do try to pair you with other people in the same circumstances. But remember that you can request to dine with other guests on the ship who are not in your cabin. So if you guys are traveling with another family, then definitely call Disney Cruise Line and say, hey, the other family that we're traveling with is in this particular cabin, or hey, my parents are traveling and they're in this cabin, we'd like to sit with them each night for dinner, and they will do everything they can to make sure that happens. Get your requests in early though, and choosing the second seating will usually give you an advantage as far as having those requests honored. Okay, next thing I wish I had known before I was traveling on Disney Cruise Line: inside cabins can be just as magical as balcony suites. Well, No, they can't be just as magical, but they do have a secret that makes them really fun. First of all, to know there's tons of options when it comes to picking your stateroom. You want to decide on the cost level first, of course. Do you want an inside versus an ocean view versus a veranda versus a suite? So all of this depends on your budget and the number of people you're traveling with. Here's what all of those things mean. Inside staterooms are the most affordable, but they are a bit smaller. They have no outside light because they're all, what they mean by an inside stateroom means they're on the inside of the ship. So they don't have any sort of porthole or window or veranda or balcony looking outward. That means these can be very dark. Once you turn off the lights, there's no other light coming in. So be sure to set an alarm or a wake-up call for the morning, or else you might just sleep through breakfast and your port adventures and everything else. Two of the current ships, the Fantasy and the Dream, do have really cool virtual portholes that are a super nice added touch, and they're super fun. These magic portholes give inside cabins a quote-unquote view of the outside via an HD screen linked to a live feed camera. And from time to time, Disney characters might stop by, or you might even spot the Millennium Falcon fly by on a Star Wars day at sea. So you never know who you're gonna see pop into your view of the waves outside. So that's really fun. Maybe it's not as much fun as having a veranda to sit on while you're passing by the incredible vistas in Alaska, but still fun to have a porthole with a couple of Disney friends stopping by once in a while. Now, these rooms are great if you're planning on being out of the stateroom all day. No point in spending a bunch of money if you're just sleeping in there. The beds aren't any different. The ocean view rooms give you a porthole or picture window that lets you see the ocean and ports. Veranda rooms give you your own private deck for sunbathing or stargazing, and it really is a different experience from an interior cabin. So if you saved up for the trip and want to make it really special, definitely get that veranda room. Suites give you extra room. There's 1 and 2 bedroom suites if you're traveling with everybody and prefer to be in one stateroom rather than get 2 staterooms or 3 staterooms. But don't forget, you can get connecting staterooms that aren't suites. So for instance, I traveled with my husband and my son, and my mom and dad traveled next door to us, and we had a connecting stateroom, so you could just open the doors between them and go back and forth. You'll be able to see the little connecting door icon if you're looking at the ship to pick your room, or go ahead and work with Small World Vacations. They'll be able to make sure you get a connecting stateroom and sort all of that out for you. You can find a great agent over at smallworldvacations.com. You guys know we love them, and they will definitely help you out when it comes to your cruise planning. So if you're concerned about motion sickness on your cruise, be sure to book a midship cabin. You'll feel a lot less movement there, although these ships are pretty big, so you won't feel too much movement anyway, but there is definitely rocking happening on this ship. So that midship cabin will give you a little bit less sway. So if you're a light sleeper, be sure to check out deck plans. Try not to pick a cabin right below a restaurant or another high traffic area, because those scraping chairs at cabanas are super loud, just a heads up. Also, pick a cabin close to an elevator if you have mobility issues. That's another important one to remember. Now, no matter which cabin you pick, you can make it your own. You will have room attendants who are usually very adept at learning your likes and dislikes when it comes to preparing your room, so don't be afraid to let them know what you need. For example, if you want the kids' beds left down during the day, when your baby likes to nap, etc., they can be sure to leave those beds down or not try to come in the room when your kiddo's napping. And you can decorate your doors. This one is super fun. You'll see a lot of decorated doors when you are on Disney Cruise Line. But remember, the only thing you can use to decorate your doors are magnets. They are metal doors, and they do not let you use tape. You can't use glue. You can't use anything but magnets to stick things to your doors. Those things will be taken down if you use them. So get some magnets, showcase your favorite characters, your family name, the people in your family. I went on a Halloween in the High Seas cruise, and I put a funny mummy wrap all over my door. It was super fun. So that's a great way to personalize your room, make it easier to find when you're walking down the endless hallway of room doors. Also, you can participate in what's called a fish extender event. There are little fish next to your door, and that's how Disney Cruise Line communicates with you. They'll put your spa invitation, your Palo invitation in there when it's time to go there. So if you find other friends that are traveling on the ship with you, they can leave you little gifts as a fish extender, what they call a fish extender. And there's lots of these groups on Disney forums and other locations online where you can join a fish extender group and bring little gifts for other people on the ship, and they'll bring little gifts for you. Now, something else to know about those staterooms: fridges are more cool boxes than they are fridges. So if you need to store medication or other things, be sure to let guest services know. They might be able to store those things for you. Also, in Disney Cruise Line, there is a split bathroom design. That means there is one side of one room that is just for the shower in sort of a mini bathtub, and then there's another room where the toilet is. So this is completely split up so someone can be using the toilet or brushing their teeth while someone else is in the shower. And here's a special tip. On the Dream and the Fantasy, there is a system where you have to put your key card in a little pocket in order to turn on the lights in your stateroom. This is, of course, a strategy to keep from using too much power. Now, if you're like me, and if you put your key card in that little pocket, you will inevitably forget your key card when you leave. Go ahead and put a credit card or something else that you're not going to use. Maybe a used gift card or something like that would be a little safer than sticking a credit card in there. But stick that in there to keep the lights on, and keep your key card on your lanyard so that you don't leave it there. Now, in order to save that power, take out that card whenever you can when you're not in the stateroom. Super important to note, room service is available 24/7. It's included in the price of your cruise. Just don't forget to tip, and you cannot get room service on debarkation day. But don't forget that Mickey bars are available from room service 24/7, so you can get those Mickey bars anytime you want. Okay, next, the kiddos might be having the most fun, so be sure to book that adults-only dinner. That's right, there are great kids clubs on Disney Cruise Line, probably the best kids clubs on any cruise line. So be sure, if you take your kids, to introduce them to those kids clubs via the open houses. Those are happening several times throughout the cruise, and pretty much the whole embarkation day. You can go check out those kid clubs with your little ones, and they can sort of experience it with mom and dad so they don't feel too scared to be there on their own. Families assigned to the second dining can have their kids be part of the dine and play. So kiddos will get served first and much more quickly so that they can then leave with their youth activities counselor to go play. Mom and dad can have a leisurely dinner. That's a nice way to kind of get past that you are in the second dinner seating and your kids are super starving. So with those kids clubs, you can sign kids in and out of the club whenever you'd like. Just remember that they do take field trips around the ship, so you need to check your navigator to see where they are at any point in the day. And of course, the Disney cast members that are at the Oceaneer Club or Lab will know where your kiddo is. You can just pop up there and they'll find them for you. And something that a lot of people don't realize is that you can use the Kids Club service on your day at Castaway Cay as well. Kids will be taken onto the island and they'll be given lunch and have tons of activities to do over there at the Kids Club at Castaway Cay. So that's a super cool way for them to have fun and mom and dad to spend a little time on the beach alone. Now, older kids, ages 11 to 14, can hang out in the tween clubs, Edge or Vibe, and little ones under 3 can head to the Small World Nursery. But keep in mind that this one requires advance reservations. You've got to book your Small World Nursery time before you get on the ship, or else it might be sold out. This one also is an extra hourly rate. And while the kids are hanging out in the kids clubs, be sure to check out the adults only areas on the ship, including nightclubs, lounges, spas, quiet pools, in addition to the adults only restaurants Remy and Palo. So you might want to add on a little extra magic. A Disney Cruise Line vacation can be completely magic on its own. You get all the character meet and greets, some amazing entertainment, activities, extra pixie dust, blah, blah, blah. You won't find all that on another cruise line. But what would make it even better? Adding on some days at Disney World. So some Disney Cruise Line cruises depart from Port Canaveral, which is only 45 minutes away from Disney World. So tacking on a few days at the parks either before or after your cruise, we always recommend before, is pretty easy to do. There are also some cruises that sail out of New York City, and those will stop at Port Canaveral, so you can go to Disney World for the day, and then they'll head over onto Castaway Cay, so that's a fun one too. Disney does offer land and sea packages, which include transportation between Disney World and the port, so that is all sort of packaged up for you. So those are a few more things you need to know about Disney Cruise Line before you cruise. Now, as always, let us know in the comments your tips, your tricks, your favorite things about Disney Cruise Line. Which ship is your favorite? We'd love to hear, and it really helps the rest of our viewers to see your experiences as well. There's nothing scarier than cruising for the first time if you don't know anything about it. Well, I shouldn't say that. There are scarier things. But it can be hard to cruise for the first time if you really don't know much about it. So please let us know your tips and tricks in the comments. Thanks for listening, you guys. Thanks for watching. This is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.